Well, the Big 12 selling its naming rights could get them 30 to 50 million a year.
I'm very confident.
Yeah. They are also talking about hooking up with a private equity firm that could infuse some cash into the league.
Up to $1 billion.
Yeah, billion for 15 to 20% stake.
Some universities are uncomfortable with that, but
well, look, I mean, all this talk, and this is from yesterday. We don't need to dive too deep into it, but it's worth repeating here that all this talk of what are these schools going to do now, having to pay players, and there's no money in these budgets, and they just don't make any money.
Going to sell things.
All that talk is so silly because it's been a higher education model, and now it's turning into a real business model. And we all know what that means. And that means, as the Big 12 commissioner put it, value creation. Mm-hmm. And these schools, we talked about Washington yesterday. Washington's going to be at a $30 million cash flow deficit this fiscal year.
Yeah.
But all they're going to do to bridge that gap is borrow. These schools can all borrow. There's plenty of money out there, whether it be private equity from their own university fund. Washington is borrowing from the conference of the Big Ten and Fox, mm-hmm. and their own university fund. So they're going to borrow, and they're going to survive that way. And then all the value creation, all the revenue streams, naming rights, sponsorship deals,
well, eventually the Big Ten
stadiums.
The Big Ten contract will kick in, and they'll get $100 million from that.
Well, yeah, but I just mean all the other stuff. Like this has never been run as a real business, and that's what a lot of people like about college athletics. Of course, it's a higher education model. They don't tap into a sponsor for every little thing. But now that the can of worms is open, and you have to pay players, you better believe they're going to find every way they can to create value and sell things that are going to bring in so much damn money. I mean, why do you think these private equity firms want to get in? They see how undervalued all this stuff is, and these TV contracts are just going to keep going up. So I know some people don't like that, okay, because we know what it means now that it's going to be a real business model. Money can ruin a lot of things.
Sure.
Greed will kick in. The wrong people will be in charge. Cost cutting will happen despite record revenues. You'll wonder why, oh my God, the Washington made $100 million last year and they cut that sport. It's like it's about to be run a lot differently.
Yeah.
But all the talk of, the doom and gloom of these schools, there's no way they're going to be able to afford it. These schools, some of them are just going to go away. And this pertains to Oregon State, too. That's all bullshit. There's so much value creation that's about to happen. They're all going to be raking in so much money, some more than others, but enough to make this work.
And, and people are like, what does that, break down to $3 million per school for the Big 12? Yeah, it breaks down to $3 million per school. And they're going to do a bunch of other things. You have to start inching your way. Like, you're going to sit around now and look at the gap between the SEC and the Big Ten and be like, how do we close that in any way possible? And you close it by $3 million at a time. And then they're going to put some sponsors. By the way, get ready, because you're going to get big sponsors on the field.
Yep.
It's only a matter of time from when you go to Autzen Stadium and there is a big fat swoosh right on the 20-yard line. They have it in hockey already, and the uniforms are going to have patches on them.
Just look at pro sports.
Yes. It's already happening.
I mean, that's been going on for years. So just look at everything. Look at the names of these stadiums. Yep.
Well, look at Europe first. Like they had the advertising more prominent than like the team's crests or logos or whatever. And people were up in arms here when we just started doing the little patches on practice jerseys and stuff. It is taking over.
When you go to a Timbers game and you look at a Timbers jersey, it is not a Portland Timbers jersey.
It's a Tillamook jersey.
It's a Tillamook jersey. The Timbers logo is small. It's up in the corner. Big fat across the chest is Tillamook. And I don't know what they paid for it, but they paid a hefty penny. And you're right. All the year, I saw Robinson Cano. Did you know he's still playing in the Mexican leagues?
No
and he's
idea.
like #1 in every category. Dude, he's killing it. He's like the Babe Ruth of the Mexican
leagues. Is he on
leagues.
the sauce?
I would hope so. Why wouldn't you be? He's down in Mexico living the good life. But I saw a photo of him today in the Mexican leagues. Oh my God. It's like a NASCAR thing. They've got patches all over that son of a gun, from ankles to the cap. That thing is fully logoed.
Yeah.
And that's, and we can be mad, but at the end of the day, in college sports, they are going to need to fill this gap. And you said it. They will do it in every possible way. They will turn over every rock, and there is money to be had here.
There's so much money.
Yes.
And that's just outside of the TV contracts and already
which are already going to continue to go up. And,
right.
And so which again fascinates me that everyone is so mad because this is capitalism. This is supposedly what everyone loves is capitalism. Well, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways.
Too is I just feel like I kind of don't really get where people are bitching about it other than we just don't like change, and that's just a human thing, and we just because as long as the product isn't hurt, you will see no difference.
No.
Other than an occasional sponsor where you didn't see one before. Like, who cares? Like, why do people think that just because the business portion of everything is changing, why do they think it's going to be so drastically different on the field? You still have to have, just like in the NFL, you still have to have good coaches, good, good, what am I trying to say, scouting or recruiting. And it's just, I don't know.
I hate change.
And that's just kind of a dumb reason to say.
Well, I think it looks different than what people are used to. It's just
how so?
Because
because
instead of saying Timbers across the chest, it says Tillamook. I mean, I don't think it matters, but because it looks different, it's not the same as what I'm used to.
If that's the worst thing, if really your biggest gripe is I don't want to see sponsors everywhere. Yeah. Dude, look around you.
Yeah.
Wake up.
But I feel like that is the basis of this really simple gripe. Yeah. There's no reason to it.
The only thing I will say is it is a little weird to have it be the Allstate 12. But is it any weirder? That's you got to admit. That's
the
weird.
Allstate 12.
The Allstate 12. We are going to imagine had Oregon, there was talk of Oregon joining the Big 12. We could be going to cover the Allstate 12 media days.
I don't hate it.
That's weird.
It is weird. I'm not going to say it's not. But I think it all depends on who the sponsor is. Yeah. Like if poontrain.com sponsors it.
Now we're talking.
The poontrain.com 12.
Yeah.
That's a little dicey.
Well, the same thing with like the Tampax 12. It would be weird.
It all depends. Like Allstate actually kind of works
because there's such a big college football thing. Well, to your point, so
or Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. Yeah, the Dr. Pepper 12 would make sense because they sponsor the Big 12 title game.
Although they'd have an issue because they always are flexing their 23 flavors. So it'd be confusing.
Wouldn't it be something? Well, there's 16
Well, it's
teams
already
anyways.
confusing. Yeah, that's the other thing. Hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
But while I'm thinking about it, the league names do need a refresh. If we're being honest, the Big 10 has 18 teams.
It shouldn't be the Allstate 12. It should be the Allstate Conference.
The Big 12 has
16,
and the Pac-12 has 2. So yes, it's probably time to shift gears on
Just call it the Allstate, whatever you feel like.
The
but
SEC,
the 12 needs to be dropped.
The SEC was smart enough to not add a number to it at least,
and the ACC,
But
they're going to follow suit on.
Oh, 100%.
All the leagues will be known by sponsor names.
Yes, because the SEC is going to be like, wait, they got $50 million a year. Like, our starting tag is 100, and some Southern company will pay it.
Yeah, Conference USA is going for it. They'll take less probably.
They'll take I think you can make Conference USA whatever you want for like $7,000.
Yeah, this guy. Here's a text
it's like
on
the Flying J truck stop.
Yeah.
The
Conference
Vancouver
USA.
Ford text line says, after being bombarded by ads in our collective faces all week, why do we want to unwind with more of it? The fact that there's already a lot of it is a weak argument. Well,
you're not unwinding with more of it, though. You're just sitting there watching the same game that's been the same way it always has been.
I think
there's one more logo.
My point is that just because there's a lot of it is not the point. The point is that it doesn't bother you. Yeah. It's not. It's like Little League. Like this guy says, it's funny how people are okay with all the local businesses buying their billboards on the back of Little Leagues and high school gyms, but for college, oh my God, blasphemous.
Amen.
That's the thing. It's
Amen.
Like, it doesn't hurt you a bit. Yes, there's a lot of it, and that is not an argument to say just because there's a lot of it, we should have more. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it is harmless.
Well, and now a lot of those people would say, well, the high schools need the money. Well, now the colleges do too. They're not going to compete.
Yeah.
It's just absurd.
I'm watching the NHL right now. The Stanley Cup's on behind you, and I love the NHL. It's my favorite sport. It's my favorite league. I love watching it. Just look up at the screen.
Pepsi.
It is
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Chipotle, Jägermeister on the blue line.
Everywhere.
Oh, yeah, Chipotle on the blue line.
Adidas. And
although
by the
I got to
way,
tell you, if I'm Chipotle, I don't love that because you kind of can't read it.
Yeah.
What's that
Well,
one?
when they Zamboni,
Jaeger?
it'll be fine
Jaeger.
again.
Jägermeister? Did they take
Jägermeister.
the Meister off the Jaeger?
Yeah, it just says Jaeger now, and then
It's
they have
only
the
Jaeger.
deer.
And then Fastenal there?
Yep.
PCL
Verizon.
Construction.
That's the other one's a Canadian
A
bank.
betting site, betway.net.
PCL. Do you
Yes.
want us to keep going?
Those are, by the way, those are on the ice. That is literally logos inside the ice, and then the entire billboard around it. Remember they did the NBA court at the All-Star game?
Hey, there's great clips.
That changes. That's what the boards are in hockey.
I know.
Those are LED boards, and every 30 to 45 seconds is a new round of ads.
It's just not bothersome. It really isn't.
And you know why the NHL is the first league to really endorse that? Because they don't make as much money as the others. They just don't. The highest paid player in the NHL is roughly about $13 million a year. They need money. And so the NHL a number of years ago went for it. So in the NHL, you can have a sponsor on your jersey. You can have a different one on your helmet. And everyone does. Because that is a league that needs money.
But the NFL makes more than any of them.
Oh, yeah.
$20 billion a year.
NFL doesn't need it. They just want it, so they'll take it.
Well, yeah, go around an NFL stadium.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
They just haven't gone as far as the NHL with the stuff on the field because they don't need it. The NHL did it because the NHL needs it. Well, guess who needs it right now? College football. And college football is going to it. Okay. So you can like it or you can bitch and moan, but this is the future of these leagues. And for someone on the Vancouver Ford text line said, the Big Ten and the SEC haven't sold out yet. Again, they don't need it right now. But once the money starts rolling in, I promise you that the SEC and the Big Ten are not going to stand by and let other leagues gobble up all these sponsorship deals while they sit there and they're like,
let their competitors get fatter on the cash? No.
It's not going to happen.
What do you guys think of the 7-11-12?
Ooh, I like it. I like where we're going with that.
Wouldn't that be cool? The 7-11-12.
Someone on the text line said we should have the Pornhub Pack 2.
Again, opportunity for the Saudis here.
Always.
Everyone wants sports to be some magical escape for everything when it hasn't been for decades. There you go. Remove the wool, people. That is a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's weird when you watch, and I don't have it anymore, but I used to watch ESPN Classic. I used to sometimes I would enjoy this, but God, the standard def, the video, you can't watch it. It's horrid. But it was interesting to go back and I would watch a World Series game from like 1974. And outside of them telling you on the broadcast that it was the World Series, you would have never known. There's nothing on the field.
You know what inning it was, what the score was, how many outs there were?
Nothing. There's nothing to indicate anywhere in that stadium that is the World Series. And I remember sitting there on my couch being like, oh my goodness, look at that. No, it just wasn't. It just wasn't a thing. It was more of kind of that pure, whatever, like it was just a sporting event. But that ended somewhere in the mid 80s. That died when someone was like, wait a minute. I think we can make money. Because back then it wasn't a big money generator.
Well, yeah.
Players didn't make big money.
They did like late 70s. You get free agency in baseball, right? And then the money starts booming.
Yeah.
And what do you see?
Yeah. Everything. Ads. Sponsors.
That's how it works.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's amazing that we're only just now to this point with college sports in 2024.
Really? And even
they held on for so long.
You should be proud that our pro sports in college held on, because if you go anywhere else in the world, anywhere, their jerseys are, someone said that there's 27 ads on every jersey in the EPL. So the fact that we held on as long as we did, good run, America. We gave it our best shot. We held on. But my beloved Red Wings, my beloved Red Wings have a trash collecting company as the jersey sponsor. That's what we got. We got a grocery store on our helmet and a recycling trash space on the uniform.
Yeah, the Giants have the driverless car service.
Yeah,
and we have the Vancouver Ford text line.
Yes, we do.
Some guys like, I don't even recognize you guys saying Vancouver Ford text line. It's just like
it's just
ingrained.
It's just what it is.
So, okay, one more thought, and we'll do this next. But you were talking about, or maybe it was, did I mention why didn't the Pac-12, like if you're getting $30 to $50 million a year, to name your league, why wouldn't you have done this sooner? Like,
might have made a difference.